Yay. Oh my goodness, there's a cat. Hi, this is Heather from Liberty Librarian, and this is the magical episode and magical cat who, weirdly enough, green screened right out. Um, Today we have like a really cool show up ahead for you, and we have a lot going on. We're gonna have my good friends Laura Lavoie, Bill Perkins from Bill Has Opinions on a little bit, and as always, a little bit of intellectual freedom news. Um, I live in a magical world. I'm just going to show you. Yeah, right. I figure, why not, right? Do you know who I am? I'm gonna let we'll talk about that a little later when those guys are on the show. Think about it. Let me know if you got it. Um, let's see. What I'm gonna turn on the light. There. Oh, now you can see me. Even better. So this has been kind of a weird week. It's been trying, it's been odd. We got our stay at home orders, which sounds a lot nicer than shelter in place or stay the hell at home. Um, it's extended to May 4th, so a lot of us are a little disheartened right now in Minnesota. So I figured, let's do fun stuff. My fingers disappear, right? Um, and like having a little bit of fun with stuff, it makes things go a little bit faster, makes life a little bit better. But I'm going to make sure this is working. It looks like it is. I'm gonna just double check because I like it to go to the Liberty Librarian show, and we'll just make sure I see something saying it's live. So I'm gonna share that there, and then we'll get right on it. I don't have a huge amount of news today. It seems like the world is kind of shut down in general, right? There's been a lot of tough things we've been going through. I know the president's on the air right now. I know there's a lot going on. It's just kind of show. There I am. It's working. Yay. So yeah, what do you think of this background? It's kind of crazy, isn't it? I'm gonna share in my page. Liberty Librarian, y'all. It's live. There we go. I have guests. It's like da da da. I'm gonna post that. Let's see what it says. So my good friend Laura Lavoie is in the waiting room. I'm gonna leave you there for a minute, Laura. And then when Bill gets on, then I will bring you both in. But I just got a couple little short things. So I'm gonna leave that running in the background. Yay. Okay, it's always exciting and weird with technology to make sure that everything is like working correctly. I'm just like looking at my hair. Oh, what do you think? Should I get purple hair all the time? This is kind of hot. And I mean, literally, it is warm as hell. But let's see. I wanted to make sure I shared in one last place on my page. And then we're ready to rock on my story, on my timeline. There we go. Because technically we start in like 1 minute. So I just started getting everything set up earlier. It's shared in my timeline. Groovy. Okay, so welcome to the show. It's so good to be here and be back. Yesterday you got to see me in a Lady Cthulhu costume, and today you can see me in even more. I see there's Laura. Okay, I'm so excited. I love this. I love the new technology. It's so fun. And so my buddy Kara and I have the Sweet Subversive show, and yesterday we did masks to show like different cosplay ways of doing masks. So I had my mask under my very intricate Cthulhu mask and like a hood on it, and it looked very scary. And Kara has Ms. Bane, and Bane's always wears a big mask over his face. So it just was a lot of fun. And I was thinking, we can do more of that. So since I have like a poop load of costumes everywhere, why not? And so, and the best thing about Zoom and these kind of meetings is you can have virtual backgrounds. So I'm at Hogwarts, bitches. So, woo. Anyway, I'm just like, oh, wow, that hair. I should do that for reals. So let's see what else is going on. We are also continuing doing online services at my job and at school. So everything is kind of up in the air. And we got a really good message from my supervisor, the dean, and he had said that, during bad times, we all tend to focus on, just keeping our heads above water, but there's also a potential for an influx of lots of students looking for learning, and they're more attracted than ever to online learning. So we're already learning a lot about it, and we're getting better and better. So I thought that was a really nice thing. So I hope we can do really well with it, and I hope I get really good at it. But I also kind of hope that I get to work with people face to face, because I'm starting to miss everybody a lot. So I think that we'll get there. It'll be okay. I want to talk a little bit about news before we introduce my fabulous guests. First of all of the news that I cover throughout the year is intellectual freedom news, which is censorship, banned books, things going on where they're tracking you, privacy issues, that sort of thing. So if you want more, there's always some on the American Library Association Intellectual Freedom site. And it is a really great resource. And there are 2 main articles I'm going to show, but first I'm going to grab a beverage so that way we can sit here because my throat's tickling a little bit. See? Yeah, okay. I'll be right back. I wish I could just magic a beer. Magic a beer. Bring me beer. What is it? Asio beer. And then I got a Lining Kugel summer shandy because I've, I see Bill has arrived too. We're almost ready for you guys. Sit in the waiting room for just a minute. I'll open a beer and then I will let you both in. But first, okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about really cool thing I saw the other day about the uncensored library. And this is going on, as you know, in our culture, we have very free information, but in many other countries around the world with the coronavirus, there is a shutdown on information everywhere. Censorship is rampant. So I found this really cool thing called the Uncensored Library, and it's by a group called Reporters Without Borders. And what they're doing is finding a way to get information into other countries that have bans, they have censorship, but they found a loophole. And I don't know, like part of me is like, why are you telling people? Because this is a loophole, but it's a really cool loophole. They made this huge library in Minecraft. A lot of kids play Minecraft, but the government's kind of just like, it's a game. They don't care. They don't seem to care. But I'm going to show you a really cool video and I want you to see what it looks like. There's some subtitles on it, so hopefully that doesn't bug you too much because it's going to go by pretty fast, but I wanted you to see it because it's freaking awesome. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do that. And where could it be? Do screen. Your computer sound. Okay, it's coming, I promise. Oops. Down a little. Come on. There, I just like strategically put things where I can't see it. Okay, let's see if that works. Hopefully the sound works for you. This is the Uncensored Library. That's amazing.
Censorship, blockages, internet surveillance and incredibly restrictive laws.
Orta Doğu'da basın özgürlüğü hiç bu kadar kötü olmamıştı.
I run Graniruk, which is blocked in Russia.
My name is Nguyen Van Dai. I am a news blogger from Vietnam. I was sentenced 15 years in prison.
Benim adım Hatice Cengiz. Cemal Kaşıkçı'nın nişanlısıyım.
Freedom of speech is important because we need to inform young people about the real political situation around the world.
The Uncensored Library is a bold use of Minecraft. It really encapsulates everything that's great about this game and the community that it's created.
As I look at this gorgeous Uncensored Library, I feel like this is what we should be doing.
Dünyadaki bütün insanların özgürce bilgiye ulaşmasını istiyorum.
The only real way of fighting censorship is sharing and spreading what is being censored.
Truth finds a way. Yes, I love that. What a cool idea. It appeals to me on many levels, my geek levels, everything that. Oh, it kept playing in the background. Stop, YouTube. YouTube. Yes, the tubes of you. No. So yeah, right? Like what an ingenious way to get sharing of information throughout the world. Everybody plays Minecraft, so they don't want to censor that. But inside of Minecraft, there is an island of a giant library with tons of information. It changes all the time. And I like the labyrinth of truth in there. It just is so cool. I'm just gonna show you real quick. Like there was PowerPoint. I got a couple screenshots because I just thought it was amazing looking. Like really, look at that. It's like a whole island. I want to work at that library. That's brilliant. How cool. And you know, like they have like the inside, you saw that when they're flying around, the labyrinth of truth. And then outside the symbol, reporters without borders. So I just love that. So I don't have a lot to say about it. There's an article where they talk a little bit more about what's going on with that. It's an effort to make censored journalism accessible around the world. And that's just a great, simple way of doing it. I worry when they talk about it that they're going to take it down now. But I think that all the work that goes in there, Minecraft has roughly about 112 million monthly players. Monthly. 112 million players. It's a virtual environment where users can explore a blocky world, extract materials, and build structures. So you see, a bunch of people had to make that building. They had to work together to make it. And then on top of that, they have to have dedicated wings for 5 different countries with press freedom issues. So it is made specifically to help these countries share information. They can open books in the game and read a selection of 25 stories that are censored in those respective countries, including work from the late Saudi Arabian journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was murdered in 2018. So the head of the project is a woman named Kristen Boz, and explained that a younger age of players of the game was an opportunity to engage that demographic with 20,000 visits since it launched earlier this month. So it's a brand new area. And I think it's a brilliant use of the technology, it's like so many things about this makes me really excited. Younger people don't really access news from traditional platforms, so this is a way to reach and engage them with the topic of press freedom. And they want people to be able to read, inform themselves, and access to free information. They wanted to bring awareness of this, so press censorship to younger people, so they become active in it and become activists in it. And hopefully this can be something that can change throughout the world, and something that we can maintain in our own country, I might add, because it terrifies me all the time. But I love that. Reporters Without Borders had experimented in the past using unorthodox ways of reaching audiences with its work and allows people to see censored content. This organization was launched in 2018. So it's turning censored stories into pop songs. That was one of the first ways that they dealt with it. So in the coming months, the organization hopes to expand the project with extensions to the library to cover articles from other countries. So way to go, Uncensored Library, and way to go, Reporters Without Borders. I think that is one of the best things I've seen lately, and it makes me really happy. The other thing I just wanted to mention was that I saw this in Reuters. Coronavirus surveillance poses long-term privacy threat. This is something I hammer on every week, but your cell phone, mine should be like around here somewhere. There you go. Cell phones. This is what they're using to track us. It's great for the general feeling of that people are where they're supposed to be, but what I was reading in this Reuters article, they said that there's long-term threats that are starting to pop up, especially in countries where they're using surveillance to get in. They use facial recognition, phone tracking. The world is getting to be more and more like a dystopian novel. So please think about this. They are using it to track if you run stoplights. They're using it to track if you go visit public places when you're not allowed to travel. They say that they're also looking at it to see what your daily route is. They can build detailed tracking maps to figure out where you are at all times, as long as you have your phone. Or if you leave your phone, heaven forbid, then that is a red flag as well. So we have become so tied to our phones, it's a dangerous thing. So they like these voluntary tools such as phone tracking apps, requiring users' consent over broader surveillance powers so they can check in on you. But I think that for the feeling of safety, we are not getting anything good out of this. We need to be very careful about allowing this to go on. One of the things I had seen was that, I think was it in China, that they had said that if you had gone more than 14 times out during times when you're not supposed to, you were red flagged. And because of that, you couldn't travel. So think about that. When would this ever stop? Why would they ever stop? Another thing that they were talking about is they're identifying people who are HIV positive in countries where conditions are seen as an indicator of homosexuality and homophobia is rife. So they're using it to target people. So think about the kind of data that they can get from you, and they can figure out everything about you. So be very careful. Please, that's one of the things we are always going to talk about. I'm always going to try to keep you guys aware of what's going on with the cell phones and everything, but be careful because they're always watching it. And even my own state governor has said that they use it to track to see how many people are out when they shouldn't be. So think about that. Okay, kids, are you about ready for Laura and Bill? I know they've been in the waiting room. Yep. Okay, good. They're both here. Whew, we're going to bring them right in now, kids. So here we go. I am going to switch them in and we will get talking to Bill and Laura. Going to bring you in. Going to bring you in. Magic. I'm in. Yep. Let's see. Laura. Hello. Let's see. I think I'm going to unmute all. Can I hear you now?
Making it work.
Yay, it's working.
We did
Oh, nice. I like that. We're cute. Oh, so I think I hear Bill. Bill, can you hear us? Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to click on him and make sure. This thing keeps moving. There he is. Yay, Bill. Hurrah! I gotta look at you guys a little better. Oh my God, that is awesome. He's literally in a fire.
He's the dog.
Oh, that's cool. Turn your head a little bit. I want to see it a little bit better because you're cropping kind of. Yeah, turn like this.
Turn to the left.
To the left and to the
Turn
right.
to the right.
He's not gonna.
No.
So yes, I dyed my hair blue. They say that people do crazy things. So I'm doing magic. Oh, you can't hear him?
We can't hear you.
We can't
hear Bill.
Okay.
I can't hear him.
I wonder. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can figure it out. Oh, we lost Bill.
I know he did say he was having internet trouble before. Oh wait, it looks like he's connecting to audio.
Okay.
Go.
We'll see if how this works, and then we will talk.
It looks like it's trying.
It is trying. I know he's having some internet trouble today.
Hey!
Yay! That's cool. Okay. It's like he's floating. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh,
yeah.
there it went.
Well, Laura, shall we talk a little bit about the show while we wait for Bill to come on?
Sure. I know. I feel bad that he was having trouble with the internet all day. So, which is a bummer on the day that we're going to be on your show.
Oh, I know. And it's hard to predict how these things work at all. I've had it so like we're using Zoom right now, but like some days it doesn't even work at all. I think because everyone and their mother is in a class now, and you know everyone's chatting with their family and friends, so it's gonna be just challenging.
Right.
But it seems to be working okay now. I mean,
Yeah, it's all good here.
that's good. So, how you doing, lady?
I'm doing great. How are you? I mean, great, all things considered. I'm in my own house and safe, so I'm
I
doing all right.
know. I feel like we're lucky that way. We have enough food. I still have toilet paper. Ding dong. It's like a doorbell when he comes in.
Back again.
It's like I want him to say something so I know if it was sort of working, but I don't know if it will. But okay. So you guys are starting an awesome show. That's Bill Perkins, by the way, who's radical, and Laura Lavoie, who's also radical, and Bill.
Wow.
Dang it!
Oh, so close.
That's
so close.
Hey,
So,
you guys hear me?
yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Bill, you can
Okay.
just leave it as just the voice. It might.
Yeah,
not
I
be
guess
as
you get
tough.
one or the other.
That's totally fine. If you just leave it as that, we can hear you. And that's
Okay.
better than dropping off. I think the video takes too much of your internet signal probably.
My tiny bandwidth.
Yeah. And I got like the top of the line one and it drops off all the time. So I don't know. I just think we're all suffering.
Yeah, probably.
So welcome both of you.
Hey,
The
thanks.
Liberty Librarian. You guys had your inaugural episode on Tuesday this week.
That is correct.
It is called Bill Has Opinions. And you guys briefly saw Bill, and that's the guy with the opinions, right?
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me a little bit about how this show came about?
Well, I'll give you a little background. A few years ago, Bill's very, very patient wife, Emily, made sure that we knew that Bill has opinions, and mostly so that he'd stop telling her the same opinions over and over and over again. So we started filming various opinions just on quick, Facebook Lives. And over the years, we talked about like we should make this an actual podcast. And since we're all sheltering in place, we thought what better time than to pick up a new hobby. So we started a podcast.
I
Yeah,
think it's the perfect time, right?
it's the best time.
Well, and I got to hear some of the early, I don't know what you call them, like the, oh God, like when you recorded concerts back in the day and you got to see them before anyone else saw them, before it was cool to like Bill Has
Yeah.
Opinions. I got to see the early stuff and I really
Right.
liked it. Because we were kind of drunk at the time, but
Well, that's the only way they work.
oh yeah.
Yeah, one of the secrets to Bill Has Opinions is the drunker you are, you being the viewer, the funnier we are. So.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But you know what? I've watched it sober too, and I still think it's really funny, guys. I think I like that it's normal stuff. Like the last episode was condiments, and it's just like there's a lot to be said about condiments. I mean, for real.
We could have kept going too.
Oh,
Yeah, I could
know.
have talked. We could have moved on. We could have kept going and like got into like different kinds of chili or something. Other toppings.
You may need to just focus on one area and then just like go crazy with it. Make it like a PBS show. Like today we talk about ketchup.
Right. I like Elton Brown back in the day.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
I still love him. I mean, yes. And he would tell you why it was right or wrong. And I still get it in my head. Like the only thing that's right for a hamburger is mayonnaise and pepper, fresh pepper on it. And I was like, oh, that's not right. And I ate it. I'm like, oh my God, it's freaking delicious.
Exactly. We're like that, except probably not as cool as Elton Brown. But
But
cool enough.
like he's had years to refine his super cool. So you're gonna be there. Like in I'd say a couple weeks, you'll be there.
Couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate the faith in our ability to continue making funny podcasts.
I think you guys are gonna do just great. I love your stuff. So how do you guys know each other?
So we actually met at Dragon Con. Well, no, we met right before Dragon Con many years ago
We did.
Yeah.
at a Dragon Con meetup. Like
Oh, cool.
me and Emily had gone to Dragon Con the previous year for a day or two. We didn't go for the whole weekend, and we really enjoyed it. And we decided we're going to go back. And so the next year, we noticed there was like a local group of people meeting in Asheville prior to it. You know, it was a local Asheville Dragon Con meetup. We went to that and spoke to many people, you know, met some new people. And then while I was at Dragon Con, I think Matt and Laura were the first people I recognized. And so I shouted out, I said, "Hey, Matt." And I was dressed as Batman at the time. So Matt had no idea what was going on.
Like Batman's yelling at me.
Yeah. And so then he came over anyway, and they wound up, it was Matt and Laura and Jill actually all came and sat down with us. And, you know, we just hung out and drank and talked for a while. And then we went our separate ways. And then I don't know, like, but then we, like, subsequent meetups after that, we just kind of must have hit it off, I guess. And we started hanging out.
Liked each other, I guess, like the whole group of us. But it was actually even funnier than that, though, Bill, because not only were you dressed as Batman, but my husband Matt was dressed as Captain Hammer from Dr. Orwell's Sing-Along Blog.
Yeah.
And he did not address Matt as Matt. He actually shouted in a Batman voice, he shouted, "Captain, Captain." And I don't even know how we figured out he was directing it at us.
That's right.
Because we looked over and there's just Batman.
And I was doing the Christian Bale Batman voice, to be clear. I was like, "Captain, Captain, swear to me."
And it didn't take long for opinions to happen fairly quickly. So after that, we were pretty indoctrinated into various opinions. And then we started documenting them.
That's awesome. I love how random that is, but like the first time I ever saw Bill, he was dressed as Batman. So like I always that's the first thing I picture with him too. So like, some guy, I'd probably think if some guy in a Batman costume was yelling at me, my first thought would be to probably run, but like he does it in a really nice way. So
it was very nice. Very nice.
And you guys ended up like living in the same town for a little while too. And
yeah, well, we were. That's where, because I was living in Asheville at the time. I mean, Asheville's home for us, for viewers, not that anyone cares, but I'm currently in Atlanta, Georgia. But Asheville is home, and we'll be back there in the next couple of years. But so yeah, we lived in the Asheville community all together. And although Bill has since moved about 45 minutes south of Asheville.
Oh.
And that's why I have the internet problems.
Oh. You're out. You get your way out there.
out in the boonies, as we say.
Man, gotta wear some tinfoil hats or something to make your signal stronger. I don't know how to do that. No,
I'm sure we have opinions on that, though.
Well, and I know, Laura, you love that area of Asheville. It's very beautiful. It's amazing with all the craft beer. It's an amazing area. I know that one of the things about you that you and your husband built a tiny house out there, and that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, Matt and I built a 120 square foot house just north of Asheville, about 30 minutes north of Asheville, and we built it ourselves from the ground up and from the foundation up. And once it was finished, it took us a really long time to finish it, but once it was finished, we lived in it for about a whole year before moving into a house that we found and fell in love with in Asheville proper.
I love that. It's such a neat community. And I think that kind of flavors some of like both of your opinions, I think, a little bit. It's like the more fun, eclectic community of Asheville rubs off on everyone. I mean, when I was there, all I wanted to drink was craft beer for like forever. I'm like, nothing is good enough for me anymore.
It's definitely easy.
It definitely does spoil you. I remember after living in Asheville for a couple of years, the first time I went out of town, even for like a weekend, I'd go somewhere and drink beer. And let me stop. This is how my rants usually go. I always have these little asides. So first off, I wasn't a beer drinker until I moved to Asheville. I didn't like beer. Asheville taught me that there were beers out there that I liked. But then I got used to that, and then I would go to other places, like even to Atlanta at the time. Now it's probably better now, but back 8 years ago, you'd go to Atlanta for the weekend, and depending on where you went, you go into a place and you try to have a beer, and the selection would be lousy, and you just be disgusted. You'd be like, well, I should just stay home, like.
The beer is good there. Yeah,
Exactly. I didn't like beer either until we moved to Asheville. So yeah, Asheville's really good for teaching that. Luckily now most cities have a really amazing craft beer culture. And as a matter of fact, Bill and I just decided our next episode is going to be all about beer. So
awesome. I love beer. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about that. Bill, I have a feeling you have some good opinions about that.
I might have some lousy opinions depending on who you are. Yeah.
I know people who like they only like one kind of beer, and it's usually like a lager of some sort, like a Bud Light or something. That I'm just like, I could give you water. I mean,
yeah.
Like, if you're thirsty, water would be about the same. But they're like, oh no. But I mean, the thing is, like, you like what you like. I mean, everybody has certain flavors that they're attracted to. I've been going crazy for peanut butter porters lately. And I know other people who'd be like, ugh, why would you want a dessert beer? And I'm like, but that's all I want right now.
Yeah, I bought some really good what was it? I've got some sort of dessert porter I bought the other day, but it wasn't peanut butter. But I think it was because you were talking about peanut butter porters that made me buy it.
See, I'm just like, I'll keep talking about it, and then everybody's like, I have to go get that. I know our friend Jill went and got some peanut butter porter too, and like, I think it's a cycle. You hear enough people talk about the same thing, you all start getting the same stuff.
Right.
Maybe.
exactly. And right now it's like finding liquid gold because places aren't quite open, or you have to do the curbside pickup, or so now it's kind of a unique situation. It's like a treasure hunt to go find your favorite beer.
Oh
yeah.
And there's some places I used to drive really far, and like, I know they're still open, but basically there's nothing to do except just go there, pick up the beer, and come home. So it's sort of like you don't want to anyway, because we're supposed to be sheltered in place, but I'm like, but it's beer, people. I have to go get that.
It's essential.
It is essential.
Essential. Don't stop me.
That must be one of the best parts about still living in Asheville, and kind of why I wish I was still there right now. It's because there's so much beer and it's relatively close. It'd be pretty easy to find.
Oh my gosh, yeah, totally. Like, you could throw a rock and you're like, oh, there's a craft brewery. Like right there and there.
You are not wrong.
Like every place, I remember when we went, it was like every place that used to be a garage was turned into a craft brew place. And it was amazing to me. Like, they had like cideries and meaderies and like, I don't know, like distilleries, like any kind of booze. So I mean, like, really, you don't ever have to be sober in that town if you don't want to be.
True. In fact, I imagine it's hard to be sober in Asheville.
I tell people that if you've got some sort of recovery thing going on, maybe it's not the best place to move to.
No. Well, unless you're out further, like out by where Bill is, like out.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you could be a teetotaler where I live.
You're like, there's nothing here. Or in the mountains, you could be a mountain man, but then you probably find some guys that have like I don't know, like some sort of distillery out in the mountains. So
sure,
give you some moonshine or something delicious. It might make you go blind, but still.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna say, Laura is also a writer, and I know you've been working on a book, and you work with lots of different businesses for writing. I am very proud of you. Would you like to talk about that at all a little bit?
Oh, a little. It's not as exciting as it sounds, although most people who know me would probably be like, of course it's exciting.
It's super exciting.
Well, I'm self-employed and I do business writing mostly for clients. So, say you're a business and whatever you do, but you need a blog and you don't want to write it, or you don't have the talent to write it, or you're not interested in writing it, you don't have time to write it, that's what I do. So companies will give me, information about what they want. I put together a blog post and they publish it as if they wrote it. It's just kind of funny because I never really get a byline on those, but I'm okay with that. But I've been a lifelong writer.
That's right.
And I've been working on a novel for the last 3 years, and I am just now starting to send out query letters. I have received 2 rejections so far, but
everybody gets rejections. Everybody, all the famous authors get rejections. So
exactly. At least I'm getting responses.
Yes. And you're looking at it in a very wise way, that you're taking some of any constructive criticism and you're applying it. So that's super smart. And I know, like, sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. You get the right person for you, and then it works out.
Absolutely.
So,
That's, the advice I got was to have at least 50 agents on your list and start sending them out batches of 5 at a time. And then when somebody sends a rejection, move on to the next one. It's, I had a background as a recruiter in hiring. And
that's like so different.
It really is. But a lot of the experience is about, like, writing cover letters or writing resumes is exactly the same as writing a query letter. You have to entice someone to want to pick up that phone and give you a call, or you have to entice them to want to. Your book might not even be that great, although hopefully it is. But if you get them with the pitch, they're going to want to see more. And that's what you're trying to do.
Well,
I was just going to pitch in here for a second and say I would wager to say also Laura's experience in hiring gives her the ability to take the criticism that they hand you more what am I trying to say, as more of a compliment, like, or this is something I can better myself with, rather than getting your feelings hurt.
it's very
because the same thing happens.
professional.
Yeah, the same thing happens when you're applying for a job, right? You'll have some people who will be like, hey, you know what, you're not exactly right for us, and here's, maybe something you could do to your resume, or maybe here's a skill you could learn, and you can take that one of 2 ways. You can either get bent out of shape about it and throw a fit, or you can go, hey, you know what, thanks for that feedback, that's good feedback, I will review my resume and maybe change it to be a better selling point, or maybe I will go and take a class in SQL or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's just a good life skill to have anyway. I mean, no matter what you do, I mean, there are a lot of creative people who don't have that filter on themselves, and they give up too easy because they go, oh, I got 1 rejection, I'm done. They're like, yeah, that's not how it works though. Like, you keep trying.
Right. And if it's not ready to be queried, if people keep sending you rejections, keep working on it until it is, because someone's going to like it.
No
Same with
doubt.
the resume. Someone's going to hire you.
Well, and it's not like this is the first time you've ever written anything. It's like some people just like, I'm just going to write a best-selling novel today. And then like they write something and they're mad it didn't work out. You write all the time. You've been writing all the time. So you get better and better. So, I mean, that's just
the goal.
And that's what I think, like doing shows like this too, is like, when I first started, I'm sure nobody ever watched at all. And then like you go, okay, technology, and you get better and you don't screw it up right away. And you're like, wow. And you get one compliment and you're like, oh, this is working. So, I mean, that's what I'm so excited for you guys too, starting out. It's like an adrenaline rush, And Bill is going to get so famous, it's going to be terrifying.
Well, let's not do our end zone dance just yet, but
Oh, I know it. Like, we'll be at Dragon Con, people will be chasing you down. Like, tell me about this. What's your opinion about my costume? And you're like, you don't want to know.
We have done here, man. We've done some great Dragon Con work though, because we all go to Dragon Con. Everybody here on this call and a bunch of friends from all over the country go to Dragon Con with us. So we have a huge group of people. And a couple of years ago, honestly, this truly happened. Bill said that there was a men's bathroom that if he didn't have a hotel room, would be where he would sleep.
Oh yeah, I
So
remember that.
it's a little hidden away bathroom in one of the hotels, which, by the way, viewers at home, don't do that. Don't sleep in a bathroom in a hotel during a convention.
They'll
But
find you. They really will.
so I went with Bill into this men's room, where a whole bunch of us did though. And
Yeah, I remember that.
we did a whole tour of the men's room and Bill's opinion on how you could sleep in there. And it was hilarious.
I wasn't wrong though. The bathroom was empty. It was always empty. Every time I ever went in there, I was the only person in that bathroom.
It was super clean too, which is really weird for a men's room.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's because, like I said, it's hidden away in the back corner of that hotel, and I don't think anybody but me knows it's there.
well, except for us now, but
Yeah,
but
my
you know,
circle.
I remember you had said like if you had like one of those hammocks that you could like
Yeah.
type that into that end, and I'm like that would totally work.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, like you'd have to put some out of order thing in front of the bathroom, and then like
Yeah.
you could pretty much live in there.
Absolutely.
It was not a bad idea at all. It's just
No.
not even legal or any of that. But
I'm not sure I'm the person to do it because I don't have the I don't know the cojones to follow through on something like that.
I would
But-
see people
but
that they'd be in a park over by Dragon Con or outside, and they'd put up a hammock and just sit there all day. And I'm like, maybe that's what they're doing is just kind of
Yeah.
camping until somebody
sure
kicks
they
them
do.
out.
Yeah, until the fuzz tells them move along. Yeah.
Exactly. But your idea was not a bad one. So I mean,
No.
it shows ingenuity. You know, like if I had to, how would I survive here? You know?
Yes.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I should find that old video and reshare it now that we've
Yeah.
got a little more
You
traffic on our
should.
little
Dragon Con on $5 a day.
Exactly. It was
Yeah.
an idea for a travel show, but it never panned out.
Well, we could do it. Yeah, you know, as long as they don't cancel, knock on wood, Dragon Con this year, we could totally do shows there. I mean, that would be super fun.
It'd be about finding the time. I know we promised, I think last Dragon Con, I promised to sit down with Heather and maybe do this exact thing. And we said, oh yeah, maybe we'll do that Sunday afternoon or something. And then, you know, you get so busy with other stuff, you don't wind up doing it.
Yeah, and what's kind of cool about our group is like we'll be like, okay, we're gonna meet up later, but I'm gonna do this and you're gonna go do this, and we run all over the place. And so we might not see each other all day. And then later we might all be drunk. So so like the chances of good quality interviews kind of goes way down as the day goes on.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, because our sobriety level goes, you know, like this as
I'm okay with like talking while I'm drunk, but I'm also like aware, like if people are watching, like you go, well, you know, maybe I don't want to be stupid drunk, you know. I mean, that's entertaining at a different level, but
Right.
you know,
That's a different show for all of us.
yes. And I think earlier in the day you get a little bit better quality. That's why I like doing my show at like 5 here, is because it's like I'm early enough, like I'm usually done with work. I might be sipping a beer, but I'm not like, woo.
But there is value to being really drunk and doing a show. Obviously, people still really love Drunk History, and
Yes.
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
When somebody is recording that show and not drunk while the other people are drunk.
Just the camera guy, I think. Yes.
So
Yeah.
at least one person
At
is making
least
sure things are, because I would be worried that, you know, there's a chance I wouldn't hit the record button on here or the live stream. And so like I would do a whole show and all of a sudden realize I didn't do the whole show.
Yeah.
And that would
Bill and
suck.
Bill and I did that once, not this past New Year's, but the New Year's before. I went with them to his wife Emily's restaurant for New Year's Eve, and we decided to do a Bill Has Opinions pretty late into the night. And we went out on the street to do it, and I don't know, we have half of it. It literally only half of it went live, and I'm not sure how, other than we were really drunk.
Yeah.
So quality control, you know, you gotta like make sure it's at that good level where you're really loose and saying funny stuff, but not like later you're like, that wasn't funny.
The two beer buzz. That's what you're going for.
Right, right. It might be funny to us. It may not be funny to anyone else.
That's always my fear is I have some very specific nerdy interests that like I'll be like, this is hilarious, and no one else will know. It'll be like crickets. You're like, oh, like anybody? Star Wars? Hello? And then they're like, no, we don't get it. Like,
There was
I can say if people haven't seen Star Wars, I'm not sure I can be friends with you. At least see
Fair
it. You
enough.
don't have to like it, but you have to at least know pop culture references.
I was gonna say that could be an opinion show, you know.
Oh, we could totally work a whole show around Star Wars. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because as an adult, and I could get beat up. I have friends that would beat me up. Is that I acknowledge that I love Star Wars, and also there are horrible things in Star Wars. So I could have a whole opinion about that too. And I mean, we have a lot of Yoda stuff in my house, and I know, but not everything in Star Wars is really good. Like Anakin Skywalker as what's his name, and Natalie Portman rolling around in the ground. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
"Hey,
Hayden Christensen, who isn't. I don't think he's worked in films since.
probably for reasons.
Yeah.
But-
Inability to emote.
I know, like she had better chemistry with Jar Jar, honestly.
Also, like, why would she be dating Anakin when super hot young Obi-Wan is right there, like right there?
Oh, there's a whole fan theory about that actually.
What?
Read between the lines
Tell
on a
me.
lot of things that go on.
Oh, I would say they'd be way better match because he was the one that like made sure her kid survived. I mean, there's a lot more love there between those two, and he was looking out for her. So yes, and Hugh McGregor is freaking amazing and pretty hot too, especially back then. So I'm like, whoa, yeah, I could see it. Darth Whiny was not so good when he was younger, but I still love Darth Vader. I love, old school Vader. I always love that. So I guess we get jaded by it because it's stuff we grew up with, but so
that's one of my, maybe I'll save it for the show we do about Star Wars, but I have an opinion about that, about exactly what you're saying about, how we feel about old school and new school and all this, we'll talk about it. It'll be a thing we'll come back to. So that's something people who tune into our show can look forward to.
You guys have so many great things you can talk about. I'm so excited about your new show. Your show is on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that correct?
5 p.m. Eastern
5 p.m. Okay. Oh, I see. Where am I?
Yeah.
There we are. I'm on like the wrong tab. There you are. I keep like, okay, whenever I have time differences, I do really bad math. So
Right.
Me too.
I switch it the wrong way. So you said that again, it was at 5 p.m.
5 Eastern.
5 Eastern.
For
Okay.
your
Tuesday.
time, I guess.
For my time. I'm like, oh, freaking A, my math brain is just the worst. I've had to
But
explain
you can watch it not live too.
Yes.
Well, that's exactly it. That's the beauty of this is like you can watch it live. People can comment. It can be really fun. But also you can just like watch it later, which I think most of the people I know do. You watch it when it's convenient, really.
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly. It was funny to us though, while we were doing it, it was just like 8 of our friends, which made the comments really funny because they all understood our jokes. But it's going to be way more confusing once it's people who don't know who we are.
Well,
Right.
A couple people on my Facebook were going, "Oh, that sounds really interesting. I want to see more about that." I'm like, "You should. It's gonna be off the hook." There. I'm gonna make sure there's no comments. Let's see. I'm gonna look real quick. I always derail it on myself. I'm like, "Oh, let's see." And then my internet's slow, so now I'm like, "No, why did I do that?" Okay, good. We have people watching. That's awesome. 15.
Yay. Hi,
So-
Hello, 15 people.
Hello, 15 people. They're probably like, who the hell are these guys?
It doesn't really matter ultimately.
It always matters, but it doesn't.
I've been
Um,
trying to think of taglines for us. The one
yeah.
I came up with the other day was that we're like drive time radio, but you don't have to drive anywhere.
Or you
Uh,
could, but you
the-
could.
Today, I also realized that we are the most Gen X show to ever be.
I think
Like,
you are.
We are literally just two Gen Xers ranting about stuff, and I think that's pretty indicative of our generational culture.
You wrote to me that you are just some weirdos with opinions.
Also accurate.
I think that is very accurate. I
Yeah.
like that. Oh, cat. Oh,
Yeah.
Rory's like, I want to be on TV. I'm like, no.
No cats allowed.
Oh my God. So much so. They always want to be in on it. And it's just like, I've had so many Zoom meetings lately where the cat just walks right in front of my face, rubs his body up against my nose. I'm talking. I'm like, bleh. So I don't know if you guys, and Laura has a cute cat too.
I do. She is currently locked out of the office, mostly so that she does not do that.
Oh, because she's on like cat jail. That's
Well,
kinda
she's
smart.
I'm trying to keep her from completely disrupting everything. Otherwise, she'd probably just be sitting behind me howling.
Yeah, my cat's sitting on the other side of the camera, staring right into my eyes. So it's really odd. He's like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, awkward." It's like that guy at the bar that you're like, "I'm here with friends," and they're like, he's like, "No, no, no, no." And then they get mad because you don't give them any attention, and they rip up whatever mail you have on the table. They don't actually do. The guys at the bars don't, but like,
I mean,
metaphorically.
I know I always go to the bar and sit my mail down first.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. The first option.
I get so many, like, being stuck at home, it makes the mailman, like that whole thing with them, a little bit more intense. Like you hear the mailbox, like something comes and you're like, oh, mail's here, and you run and you see it, and then it's like you hope it's something good. It's like we're in the 1920s again. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, crap mail. 90% of the time, crap mail. And I'm like, oh.
Well, you got to order some things.
I
You got
know.
parcels.
I
Yeah.
ordered a bunch right away, and now I don't get hardly anything. So I'm kind of like, maybe I should just order things.
Yeah.
I got a puzzle in the mail today. I'm so excited to do a puzzle this weekend. I haven't done a puzzle since like I moved out of my parents' house, and I am stupid excited to do this puzzle.
What is your puzzle, may I ask?
It's the oatmeal.
Yeah, I
It's
love
an
that.
oatmeal. I would show it to you, but I actually have my laptop propped up on top of the box so that I have a better laptop angle. Otherwise, I would show it to you, but it's under my laptop. But yeah, it's a oatmeal scene of it's based on Starry Night. So it's a cat and the Starry Night.
Oh
I think
man, that
it's
sounds
called
awesome.
Meowie Night is what it's called.
Meowie.
So I promise to post the finished results online. Oh, there's the cat.
Yep, like I said, it's a matter of time. I think that's a great idea though. Like I feel like finding old-timey ways of passing time is a good idea. We used to do that. We used to do puzzles and board games and card games.
Like when the power goes out.
Yeah.
So
Or play a game of
something like
Uno.
that. And what's weird is like this Christmas, I have some nieces, and I they're at that weird preteen age, and I bought them both like sort of like a preteen version of Cards Against Humanity, and I think like one of the unicorn games. I can't remember, and I'm just like, wow, what good timing, because they're stuck at home now, no school, and at least then they can play, and they have each other. So I mean, if you're an only child, that would kind of suck, but at least they can hang out.
Growing up, I was an only child, and I had loads of board games.
Did you?
My mom would buy me board games for birthdays and Christmas. And like, I mean, and stupid movie tie-in board games like E.T. and Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars, which by the way, those are always terrible.
Yeah, they are.
Board games based on a movie usually suck.
Because usually people who make them have never really watched them or aren't fans of them. So they just make them because they like got to check off these boxes. Yep, Chewbacca's there. Yep,
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Uh-huh.
And That's an opinion, folks.
Oh God,
That's
more.
the kind of quality entertainment you can count on if you tune into our show on Tuesday. But
That's why you
growing
get
up-
to hear. I believe in you.
yeah, but growing up, I had all these games. I mean, it wasn't just those movie tie-ins. I mean, I also had like Life and Monopoly and Pop-O-Matic Trouble and all that good stuff. But I was an only child, so it was like, meh, like, you know, I never got to play them.
I know.
That genuinely makes me sad for baby Bill.
I know. You have lots of people in your life now, though. You could play all the games you want, dude.
It's true. It's true. We still have a closet full of games now, but now we have people to play them. So that's a positive. That's a positive life journey there.
Yay, it's uplifting.
So, one of the things I've been thinking about lately is when this the quarantine lifts for all of us, what is the first thing that you want to do when you can go anywhere?
Huh.
I know. Whoever, yeah.
I already know, actually. Matt and I have had this conversation, and honestly, the very first thing we're going to do is go to Asheville for a couple of days.
It's a good idea.
And go to a bar.
Go to all the bars.
Go to all the
Literally just
bars.
all of them.
I miss bars though. I do miss bars.
I
Drinking, bar food.
I miss my friends like you guys and drinking with you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to go to any random bar and not with people I don't know.
No, I don't
That's
want to do
kind
that.
of
But I do want to
fun.
socialize.
Yeah.
I want to be in a bar atmosphere and socialize with my friends. That's the main thing.
And I want a big thing of nachos while I drink beer.
That. Yeah. I want nachos, but also buffalo fingers, but
Oh my
also tater tots and also probably some other stuff that's bad for me.
Yes. Because I don't have these at home. I mean, like, and I try to make nachos, but it's never as good as my favorite places make nachos. I mean,
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's just some vat of like cheapy cheese that they throw on everything, but
That's the difference. They use the cheap cheese. You always buy like real cheese.
Yeah.
and it
exactly.
doesn't taste right. It's so wrong. And I want to go to concerts like really bad. And then, but I think a lot of my stuff is beer related, but you know, it's like just social stuff. That's what I miss.
Right. Yeah.
And I do think that we're so lucky we live in a time where we have like Zoom and you know, StreamYard and all of that, where we can talk to each other face to face. I mean, we used to have like Google Hangouts, which were sort of iffy on quality, but you know, like we can do this, but it's still not the same. I mean, like if I have to live in my house for the rest of my life and only do this, I'll survive. But it won't be as awesome as like when we see each other in person, you know?
Right.
Right. That's
So
fair.
I love that. So I think those are all good things. And now I'm thinking about all the food that Bill had just mentioned, like especially tater tots.
All that food and more. I will eat all of it.
I will too. That should be one of your episodes, is like the best snack foods at like bars. Like what should you eat and what's shitty?
I shall write that down.
What's shitty, but you'll still eat it?
Yes. Well, like a thing I will never make at home is a giant pretzel with mustard.
Right.
But if you go to the right bar, I will totally go
Yeah.
to town on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
That's
stuff
true.
like that.
No, there's
Actually-
a lot of stuff like that. Like I will never fry cheese at home, but
No.
you know,
But I
Nor
will
would
eat
I.
fried cheese.
But I'm not
Have
gonna
you
say
seen-
no.
there's a meme that's like, hey, would you like to have 6 cheese sticks in a row? And the person's like, nah. And they're like, how about if we deep fry them and serve them with a side of marinara? And they're like, well, that
That I
changes
can do.
things.
There was, I do have to interject here. There was a few years ago, I think it was TGI Fridays was doing like the bottomless appetizers thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
And a blogger decided to see how many they would give her. And she journaled the entire thing. And I'll find the link and I'll post it on this so people can watch it or read it, because it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Because she decided she could have gotten any of their appetizers, most of which are fried, but she decided to go with the cheese sticks. And it's just this descent into madness as she's eating basket after basket after basket after basket of cheese sticks. It's truly one of the funniest things I've ever read. And it's It's very long, but I stuck with the whole thing, and it is so worth it. I will find it and I will share it with all of our viewers because it's truly hilarious.
Tragically, she died the next week from a colon blockage.
There's a moment like 3 baskets in where she was like, I have made a grave error. Because once you picked one appetizer, you couldn't switch to another one. So you just could get baskets of that one thing. And she's like, why am I eating all this cheese?
There's no potato skins after you started with the cheese sticks.
No, not at all. It's truly hilarious. I will absolutely share that with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know what I could eat mass quantities of that's fried where I just keep going with one thing. I mean, it'd have to alternate. I don't think I can marathon it, you know?
Right? Well, and I think TGI Fridays was banking on the fact that people would not sit there and order literally 20 baskets of fried cheese.
It's the same way that IHOP gets away with like, oh, you can have all the pancakes you can eat. You're like, what? You can only eat like what? 6 pancakes tops, like
normally, yeah.
I mean, at some point you're just gonna be like, all right, I'm pancaked out.
I cannot eat anymore.
Well, that's like there's, you know, you see the professional eaters, right? Like they got the hot dog eating champions, and those guys, they like eat the hot dog separate, and then they put the bread in water, and then they smush it and stick that in, and it's the bread that gets you. It's like it expands, and like pancakes, that's gotta make a giant brick in your stomach.
Exactly. That's why you're only gonna eat 6. They made that bet. They were like, oh yeah, how many pancakes you think we can, we're gonna lose on this endeavor? And they're like, oh yes, the 6 tops, and they're gonna stop eating pancakes.
Exactly. That's what made Man versus Food so much fun. It was to watch him try to eat copious amounts of food.
Bill, what's your opinion about food challenges?
So, as much as I love food, and I do love food, okay?
Yeah.
So you were just talking about like the people who eat the hot dogs. They're not enjoying the hot dogs. They're just wolfing them down to prove they can eat 21 hot dogs. Like they don't get to enjoy it. They're not putting condiments on it.
No,
they're not
just slows you down.
Yeah, but so what's the point really though? To me, is like I'd rather eat my normal like 2 or 3 hot dogs in a sitting.
I'm never gonna win.
Normal 2 to 3 hot dogs.
and then be like, yeah, I enjoyed those 3 hot dogs, and and I had all the toppings I wanted on them, and they were delicious, instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna eat 38 hot dogs this afternoon just to prove I can do it.
Well, and some of them it's to prove it, and some of them they win prizes, like they win money. But the ones that are really good, it always amazes me. They aren't the big people, like the people look like you think they could eat. It's always the people who look like they have a tapeworm.
Right. It's because the guy who looks like he can really eat, he's probably actually chewing it and enjoying the fucking hot dog for a moment. He's going, oh man, these are all beef. I really love this. This is good stuff. I love this.
I could do this all day.
But
and then next thing,
go on, Bill.
I was just gonna say, and then he looks over, and that little Asian guy down there is eating like 20 hot dogs.
I do want to go back to something real quick, because Heather, you mentioned wanting to get like a soft pretzel at a bar. What I want to know is, what condiments does everyone prefer on their soft pretzel?
Oh yeah, there's multiple ways you can go with that.
Really are.
I have 2 that are my favorite. Well, 3. Okay. The go-to is usually like a honey mustard for me, but I like horseradish and like spicy mustards, and I've had like some really good spicy mustards with those giant pretzels. But if I'm with mixed company and people who don't like mustard, which is kind of weird, ranch dressing goes with everything. So ranch dressing will work in a pinch all the time.
Huh.
I know, right? And it seems gross, but I will always eat ranch dressing.
No, I don't think it seems gross. I've never had it on a pretzel before. That's
me neither.
No, I've been in big groups, and there's always somebody who's like, I don't like mustard. I'm like,
oh yeah, there's always somebody who hates mustard. I don't know what the deal is with those people.
So I'm like, okay, all that's left is the ranch. I'm gonna try it, and I'm like, oh, that's not so bad. That's fine.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no.
mustard's number one with a pretzel. Or a coarse ground one, that's good. Like a spicy brown mustard. Oh my
Yeah.
god, there's so many mustards. We could have this talk.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Laura, what do you think?
I am 100% like a cheese dip.
Oh, cheese. I didn't think of
Yeah.
that.
And it depends on the bar, because some bars have better cheese dips than others, obviously.
Yeah.
Like often it's a beer cheese,
Your cheese is
Right.
a
so
fondue
good.
type thing. But yeah, because in a place where they give you the mustard and the cheese, I will eat all of the cheese and leave the mustard. And I like mustard. Just when I have the option to dip bread into cheese, I'm going to take that.
So I tend to so if I was given both cheese and mustard, I would alternate bites.
I would alternate. I think those flavors would go really well together, but you don't want
might
to
put
mix them.
Yeah, you don't really want cheese and mustard together, but I will go back and forth between the two if I'm given both.
Yeah, me too.
But my first choice is usually mustard, but I like cheese too on pretzels. Those are my two things. I've never done anything besides cheese or mustard on a pretzel. I will say this is interesting. There's a grocery chain that's just starting, mostly in South Carolina now, but it's kind of creeping up into the lower part of North Carolina. And they're kind of like Aldi. They're like one of those discount grocery chains, but their quality's a little bit better. And they're actually also out of Germany. It's called, I always mispronounce it. It's Lidl, I think is how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
but I always call
Lidl, is that right?
Yeah, I always call it Lidl, but it's Lidl, I think. Anyway, Lidl, when you go in there, they've got a bakery section, unlike the Aldi or any of the other discount chains. They've actually got a fresh bakery, and they always have those big pretzels, and they're like 50 cents a piece. Ooh. And so whenever I shop, I usually buy myself a pretzel, and then to go with the pretzel, I either buy myself a jar of mustard or I buy myself a tub of beer cheese. So I alternate also.
Oh man, that sounds so good.
It really does. Yeah, we're all going to be going out to get pretzels with bar cheese and mustard after
See, we only got Aldi here. We don't got the Lidl here. I wish we did. I think they're just getting them in our state, so that would be awesome.
Well, you can look forward to that.
Oh, sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna be like hungry for really weird stuff tonight. I have to see if I can like get any delivery or go pick up something.
Who's got pretzels for delivery?
I don't know.
That's what you need to look for.
Well, and some of the bars are doing stuff where you can pick stuff up, but a lot of the ones I really liked are closed now, so it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
You get used to just getting what you want whenever you want it. And you're like, yeah, now I gotta just eat bologna sandwiches at home. Boo.
You got bologna hoarded?
I have I wouldn't call it hoarded, but I have some and some cheese and bread, and I do have some toilet paper, but not a lot. I'm not a hoarder, but mostly because they don't sell it anywhere around here. So
yeah,
I have enough to wipe my butt, so that's okay.
That is good to hear. It's important to know that.
Everyone's like, whew, thank goodness. We're worried about that Heather. Oh, my cat's like on the chair. Oh. Magic. So let's see. I'm gonna look at your list. Are there things that you'd like to talk about with your show that you're excited about, or you want to get people involved? I know you're talking about getting a Patreon eventually.
Yeah, we're working on that. So the thing we need most are people to like our Facebook page, which is Bill Has Opinions. You can find us on Facebook. And of course, right now that's where we're broadcasting. But we'd like to start a Patreon, because if we don't need to make a lot of money on this. We're not even looking to make very much money, but at the very least, if we could pay for the ability to produce the show, to put it on more platforms, put it on YouTube, put it on other things, that would be great. So we're going to start a Patreon. We've been talking about the special goodies that subscribers are going to get. We don't have any specifics hammered out yet. I do know that we're going to make t-shirts, so watch for those.
Oh, I'd love to have t-shirts for different shows. And we have like lots of friends that we know that have shows now. So
Yeah.
I'd wear like I could wear a different shirt every day of the week. And
We should,
Exactly.
we should go in together and get a big ad buy. For those jumbotrons above that one square in Atlanta when we were walking around at Dragon Con.
yeah.
Oh
We
yeah.
talked about this last year. Like if we had an ad buy on one of those jumbotrons, that would be a good place to advertise. Think about all the people who are there that weekend, just that weekend, right?
Yeah.
That's like 80,000 people in Atlanta that are going to see that thing scroll across and go, huh?
What's with those people?
I don't know what
And
it
so-
is, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So if 1,500 of them decide to tune in, that's still a pretty
Say,
good,
it would be kind of fun to do something where you have like a scavenger hunt. Can you find us? And then like have on our shirt, like, if you see us, like you take a picture and it has like a QR code or something. And then like we'll send, like, if you can find us, then meet us at this place and then we'll give them free buttons or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Come
Yeah.
drink with us and be on our show. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. I could totally have a drinking with Bill and his opinions party.
It could be super fun. I always think about those things, and then when I'm there, I'm like, oh, that would have been a good idea. And then next year, I'll think about it like 2 seconds before I actually get there. So
Yeah.
that's the trick, is thinking of it ahead of time.
Right.
like a brilliant businessman, which I'm not. So. So I'm excited about your show. And your plan is to get a Patreon, maybe expand to maybe other places, like maybe YouTube or.
Yep, that's the goal. We want to get on YouTube, but we need to have a paid, well, for the system that we're using right now, because we're in 2 different places, because that makes things a little more difficult. Yeah, we'd have to have the pro account to be able to do both Facebook Live and YouTube. But we are looking into that for the future. And of course, once I move back to Asheville, and even though Bill's, 45 minutes south, we can probably arrange to actually start recording in the same location.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
which will be a whole different dynamic when you have both of us in the same place.
Oh yeah, I always think about that with the Sweet Subversive show with me and Kara. It would be so much fun for us to be in the same room and recording. Although we'd probably go off the rails, but. But I love the idea of it, and I hope you guys get to do that soon. The sooner the better for everyone, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I am like running out of steam because I'm also out of beer, and I just wanted to thank you guys for coming on the show today. This is almost next week is my 1-year anniversary for Liberty Librarian.
Woohoo!
So I'm gonna have a party next week. You guys will be invited too, because now you're in the past year's guest officially. So I'll invite you guys too right after this show. You'll be like, what's this about? So you can be on next week too if you want. But so it's just been a crazy ride. And when you're next year, yes, it'll be around the same time. Actually, that's kind of weird. We'll both have 1-year parties next year. I'll have a 2-year party next year. So it's just like crazy to see like all the changes that you go through, and it's so worth it. I'm so glad you guys are doing this. I've been telling you all the time, like, you guys got to get your show up because I'm excited about it. So, at least you got one fan here, and I hope that you guys get a lot more from people just seeing you around. And I hope you all check out Bill Has Opinions with Bill and Laura, and like send them notes, give them ideas for things that you want to see opinions about. And I think they would love to explore many avenues of opinions.
Absolutely.
So thank you again. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
And Laura, I love your costume.
Thank you.
Yes, it's beautiful. And Ghostbusters. I love having like props, but in reality, if you're at like a con, anything you have to hold is just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
'Cause then you're like, I want to drink a beer. I want to do other things. I want to go to the bathroom. And then you're always thinking, did I leave my wand in the bathroom? So you got to have a place to tuck it or a purse or something that can store your stuff. But there's some things that I'm just like, I'm never going to carry a big old hammer or something around all the time. Like our friend that had the Thor hammer that was like 80 pounds or something.
Yeah, that thing was ridiculous.
I'm just like, but I appreciate it. And I love in this time that we get to do fun stuff like this. So thank you for being on the show. And bye, you guys. I will see you all next week for the anniversary show.
Yeah.
Thanks so
Yay!
much.
Thank you. See you guys later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.